In order to subscribe to my channel, please click here or click here. Please share, comment, and like my videos and channel. Hello guys, welcome to SaaS with ServiceNow. In this session, we will talk about ServiceNow inbound email actions. ServiceNow has a great feature in which if you send an email to ServiceNow instance email address, then it can perform some action in the system like creation of new records, updating existing records of ServiceNow instance. What is inbound email action? Inbound actions are used to process emails sent to ServiceNow instance email address. They are kind of similar to business rules as they also use conditions and scripts that take action on a target table. Inbound actions process the emails to create the records in the system or update the records if watermark is found or condition is met. Let's say this is one of the ServiceNow instance. And there is a user who sends an email to ServiceNow instance. Then ServiceNow recognizes the email and process it as per the type of email and conditions mentioned in inbound action. Then it creates incident record, a new incident record, or if it matches the condition, then it also updates the existing record, existing incident record. Now, this whole process is achieved with the help of inbound actions. Instance email address. Every instance has its own email address to receive the emails. The format of email address of any ServiceNow instance is instance name at service-now.com. So if you have any instance, maybe you have a personal developer instance which starts with dev, maybe some digits, some numerical digits, then you have at service-now.com. That will become the email address of your instance. One of the important part here is that recently, or maybe 1 or 2 years ago, ServiceNow removed this ServiceNow domain for personal developer instance. In order to send an email to your personal developer instance, you have to use instance name at servicenowdevelopers.com. That's basically the email address of your personal developer instance. But if it is your business ServiceNow account, you have your own ServiceNow in your organization, in that case, the email address of your instance would be instance name at service-now.com. Action taken by system. ServiceNow can take 2 actions with inbound actions. That means whenever email will be received by ServiceNow, what kind of actions it can take. The first action is record action, in which you can create or update the record and populate the fields of target table record as per the content of incoming email which you have received. And second is email reply, in which system will respond back to the same source from where email is received. You can use it for auto response. Type of email received. ServiceNow categorize emails into 3 types in order to process them. That means whatever emails we get into ServiceNow, it basically categorizes into 3 categories. First one is forward. Then we have reply. And the last one we have is new. If ServiceNow finds FW word in the subject line and finds from : word in the body, then it classifies as forward type of email. And the important point is that both the condition should met to tag it as a forward type of email. So for example, if you are sending an email to any ServiceNow instance and that particular email has FW in the subject, and there is a from colon, because that's how you forward any email, in that case, ServiceNow will treat that email as a forward email. If ServiceNow finds watermark in the subject line or email body, that's first condition, or no watermark and reply to header contains a recognized message ID of an email with a target record, or there is no watermark and the subject line contains string RE and colon and a number of any record existed in the instance. Now, if any of condition is being met, then system will classify that incoming email as reply type of email. Watermark. Now, by default, system generates a watermark label, which is embedded at the bottom of each notification email so that system can recognize the incoming email and match with existing records. That means if you are sending a notification to different people in ServiceNow as per some conditions you have, the system will automatically create a random number, and this is alphanumeric number, which will be embedded at the bottom of that notification. Now, if somebody responds to the same notification, system will catch that notification and will treat it as for the existing record, because that particular random number will be tagged to this particular new number. The record which you have, it will be tagged to that particular number. So that's how watermark work, and it's very important as part of the updation of existing records in the system. Now, the last type is new. So if no match is found for forward and reply types of email, then incoming email is considered as new email. Process of classification of incoming email. Now we will see how system classify the type of incoming email in a flow. So I will show you the complete flow that when an email is received by a ServiceNow instance, how exactly it process the basically and classify the type of email. So we will start with, so let's say as an example, ServiceNow receives an email. So basically in the beginning, it checks if subject contains FW word. That is the first check which system will do. And if answer is yes, then it checks if body contains from colon keyword. And if again answer is yes, then email type is set as forward. And then email is processed. How exactly it will process it, that's something we will see later. Now, in this case, the subject contains FW. So let's say if the answer is no, that means that FW word is not there in the subject. And even the from is not there in the body. That means both the answers are no. Now, what exactly will happen? Then system will check if subject or body contains watermark. And if answer is yes, then the email is basically set to reply. The type of email will be set to reply type, and then email is processed. Now, if we talk about subject or body contains watermark as yes, but let's say if the answer is no. In that case, it will basically, once that answer is no, then system will check if the reply to header contains the ID, the existing record ID, the reply to header. And if the answer is yes, then again the type will be set as reply. The type of that email will be set as reply, and then email is processed. And let's say if reply to header does not contain that existing record ID, then in that case, it will check if subject contains RE and number. That means that RE word, RE colon, that is for basically reply, and the number. If that is true, if the answer is yes, so it will again tag it as reply type of email. And if it does not contain that RE word and number, in that case, it will be set as new email. And then email is processed. So this is how system basically classify that what kind of email is received by a ServiceNow instance. Email processing. ServiceNow system identify which inbound action should run by assessing inbound email type and conditions as per the incoming email messages. Flow of inbound action processing. Once the type is set, email gets processed. And we will see the whole flow, how exactly it gets processed in the system. So let's say ServiceNow receives an email. So basically, it checks if the same type of inbound action is existing in the system. So let's say you have created multiple inbound actions. So ServiceNow will check the type. Now, if the answer is yes, then it checks if any record number or watermark is available. If the answer is again yes, then it evaluates the condition mentioned in inbound action. And if answer is yes, then it runs the inbound action. But once it runs that inbound action, that means it triggers that inbound action. It also checks if stop processing is enabled. So there is the option which we will learn later. If that option stop processing is enabled, then email is processed directly. And action is taken as per the configuration of inbound action. Now, if stop processing is not enabled, then system evaluates other inbound actions. So because you might have multiple inbound actions for the same table. Now, if the type of inbound action is not matched, then it evaluates other inbound action as well. It does the same if the record number of existing record or watermark is not available, or it is available but condition does not evaluates to true. In both the cases, it evaluates other inbound actions. When inbound action gets triggered. Now it's very important to know when exactly system triggers the inbound action, in what events, in what condition. So basically there are three events when system run the inbound action. First is when incoming email matches the type of inbound action. Then watermark or record number is found in the target table. And the third one, when conditions mentioned in inbound actions becomes true. So basically when all of these three conditions are matched, then inbound action is triggered. Else it skips that inbound action and evaluate other inbound actions available in the system. So in order to run an inbound action, all these three conditions should met. Inbound action module. ServiceNow has a module called inbound actions under email, and that is also under system policy application. Now this inbound actions shows the list of inbound actions, and you can also create new inbound action as per your requirement. Let's see the inbound action form and its fields which are used to configure an inbound action. The first field is name, where you provide a name for inbound action you want to create. Then target table. Now in this field, you select the table for which inbound action needs to be created and where records have to be updated or created, like incident change, problem story, any other system table, any existing table you have in your instance, and you want to create or update records with the help of email, that you can select over here. Then we have action type. Now we talked about two action types before. One is record action and another one is email reply. You can select as per the action you want to take once email is received. Now, this is the application which gets automatically selected as per the scope you are working. So it automatically selects the scope. And then we have active checkbox. Now here, this particular field is used to enable or disable the inbound action. And then we have stop processing checkbox. Now you can check this box if you do not want to run any other inbound actions. That means you don't want to check the further conditions as per the content of the email. In that case, the whatever inbound action you have that basically matches the condition as part of the email you are getting in your system, then it will stop processing any other inbound action of your instance. Now this section is to configure triggering of inbound action when exactly you want to run the inbound action that you define over here. So in this section, you have fields like type, where you mention what type of email this inbound action should process. And we already learned about type of emails, the new, forward and reply. Then you have required roles. Now in this particular field, you will basically mention the role, and system will only process this particular inbound action once that user, the sender, will have the similar role mentioned in this configuration. Then you have from field, in which you can select existing system user. If sender is the same, then inbound action will be triggered, else not. Now another triggering event of inbound action is conditions of target table fields and data mentioned in this condition, which you can mention in this section. And then you have execution order, because you can have multiple inbound actions for the same table and you might have different conditions. In that case, you can create more than one inbound actions and put the order so that they can be processed accordingly in sequence. And you can set the priorities, that in what order those inbound actions should run. Another tab is action, in which you mention what action system should take once inbound action is triggered as per the conditions mentioned. There are two major fields in this section. One is field action, in which you can specify what data system should update on different fields of a record in target table. Now another field is script, which is again used to populate data. However, you can mention the script to achieve some custom requirement. Now you can access the data of your email with the help of a script as well. That means you can access the data which you're getting from your incoming email. You can access it with the configuration as well, but you can also access it with the help of a script. Now last section we have is description, where you describe about inbound action in details. Scripting in inbound action. As I mentioned previously, you can do scripting in inbound action to achieve custom functionalities, which you cannot achieve just with field actions field, or maybe the condition field which you had in when to run. In order to do scripting in inbound action, you need to use syntax related to inbound action. Email object. An inbound email action script contains the email object to access various pieces of an inbound email through variables. So the object we have to access email variables is email. Let's see the variables which you can use with email object. So the first variable is email.to, which stores email addresses mentioned in to and CC of incoming email, which is comma separated. And next one is email.direct, which stores email addresses mentioned in to of incoming email, which are comma separated. Then we have email.copied, which stores email addresses mentioned in CC of incoming email, which is also comma separated. And if I just maybe explain a little bit better, so these are like to and CC are like the carbon copy, which you have in your normal email. Any client you have, you will always find to, that is the recipient, and also the carbon copy, that means the same copy you want to send, so that is CC. So that is something, it will automatically pick and store those values with comma separated. So if you have multiple email addresses, it will basically store with comma separated. Then we have email.body_text, which stores the whole body of the email in string format. Now then we have email.body_HTML, which stores whole body in HTML format. Then we have email.from. Now this stores sender's email address, which can be existing users as well. Then we have email.from_sys_id. Now this stores sender's sys_id present in users table. Then we have email.origemail. This stores email address of sender mentioned in the header of the email. So whatever email is being sent, if system you want to read basically the whatever email address is mentioned in the header, that's something you can store with the help of email.origemail. Then you have email.recipients. Now this particular object and variable stores a comma separated list of recipients' address as a plain text string. So that means whatever recipients the system has sent, whatever recipients are there, that's something you can get it in this particular variable. Then you have email.recipients_array. Now this stores recipient address as an array that you can store in this particular variable. Then you have email.content_type. Now this stores basically the details of type of content mentioned in the email. So whenever you send an email, it has different elements. Now one of the element is content type. So if whatever information you have in that content type, it can be stored in with this variable, that is email.content_type. Then you have email.headers. Now this basically stores the information, whatever information you have in headers. That means about the sender, what the route is, receiver. Now in a plain text, the format is in the plain text. Next is email.importance. As we know, you can mark any email as the importance, that is high important or low importance. That is something you can mention in email. So in that case, this particular variable will store the value of the importance tagged to the incoming email while sending it. And the last one we have is email.subject. Now this will store the value you have in the subject. So whatever email you are sending, whatever subject you have, that value will be stored in this variable. In order to process your emails, as per the data mentioned in incoming email, you can use these variables in your scripting. Inbound email logs. You can also validate whether your ServiceNow instance received any email or not. So you can go to email logs, which shows the list of inbound and outbound logs of emails with details of email. And there you can see, as you can see, the highlighted part where we have highlighted the received email that is being tracked in this email. and that is basically email logs. Inbound email properties. There are some properties which you can update to change the behavior of inbound emails. You can access these properties via email properties module in ServiceNow. So as you can see, we have under system properties, you have email properties, and you can access the properties related to outbound email configuration and inbound email configuration. So in the right hand side of the page, you can see the properties of inbound email. And the first property is to enable or disable receiving of inbound emails. So if you will disable it, that your system will not receive any email. So in order to receive the emails, you have to check this box as yes. That means that will be true, and then you will start receiving the emails if anybody will send the email to your instance email address. Now, this property is to identify reply emails in which you can mention the words like R::R:, that you can mention to identify reply type of emails. Then we have to identify forward kind of emails in which you can mention the words like FW, or you can also mention FWD:. Then you also have, for example, that when users send an email which has a big email trail, then system will ignore the content below, mention the string of the text over here. So whatever text you will mention over here, system will basically ignore whatever content you have below this context. System will ignore that email. It will not be basically tracked in ServiceNow instance. Now, if you want to create users from which email is received and they are not available in the system as well, then you can check this box. Now, you can also set the default password for those new users, and they can also change it later. But if you want to set the default password, you can set it here. You can also mention the trusted domain from which you want to create new users and ignore others. But as of now, you can see this is out of the box ServiceNow domain. But if you want to mention, because you can mention your organization email address maybe, or any other maybe vendor email address, maybe your partner email address, a partner domain you can mention, so that system will automatically create the user for that particular sender who has sent the email. Processed email. Once email is processed, it shows the details like this in the same email logs record. And you can also see the target record which is created while processing this inbound action. Reprocess received emails. Now sometimes because of some system issue, email does not get processed correctly. So there's an option which can process the same email again which you have received in the system. So you can click on this reprocess email button to reprocess the current record. Now let's create a simple inbound action and see what it does. And we will also show that how exactly you can do scripting while creating a new inbound action and achieve some complex requirement. This is my personal developer instance. Now I will create a sample inbound action without scripting first. Now in order to create an inbound action, you have to type over here inbound actions. Once you will type that, you will find this inbound actions module under system policy. And if I click on this, it will show me the list of inbound actions available in my personal developer instance. In order to create a new inbound action, I will click on this new button. Now what I have done to show you this demo, so that we don't get conflicts or I don't have to troubleshoot on the order part, I have disabled other inbound actions, basically enabled for incident table, because I'm going to show you this inbound action for incident table. So I will just give it a name over here, demo for inbound action. And I will select the table as I mentioned as incident. I will keep this action type as it is, that is record action, because we have to create incident record. I will make it active, and I can also make it stop processing, but that doesn't matter because I already have just one inbound action which I'm going to create, which is enabled right now. So I will leave as it is. Then in here I will keep new. I can put the condition. So let's say we will put the condition and we will select the subject. So I will select the subject of email contains demo for inbound. That's a basically string. We will see if the subject contains demo for inbound. And if I go to actions over here, you can see here we have field actions, we have a script as well. Now in this field action part, you can auto-populate the fields of that particular new record. So for that, for example, I select short description. Now if I select short description, you will have two options. One is you can directly fetch the value from your email and populate it, or you can just mention the static value you want to populate. It's up to you. So as per your requirement. So I will just mention from email because I will just push the value which I will get it from email, and that is subject. So I will keep as it is for now. So it will be from subject. And then if I will come to script. Now, as I mentioned, this is my first sample inbound action where I don't want to do any kind of scripting because we are going to achieve this functionality without scripting. But you still need to mention one particular script, and that is you have to basically mention the action. What action this inbound email action should take. And that action should be current dot insert. Now this is basically the action. Once all the conditions are met, basically system should create a record. So in that case, I will now save it. Once it is saved, this inbound action is created. And what I will do now, I will send an email to my personal developer instance to see how exactly this inbound action is being processed and what exactly it does. So in that case, what I will do, I have already created a Gmail account just to show you the demo from where I will send the email address. I will send the email to this particular personal developer instance. So in that case, what I will do, I will click on compose and I will select my email address, that is personal developer email address. You can see over here, but one thing you will note, I'm not using the same domain which I was talking about in my previous section when we were learning about the instance email address. You can see I'm using ServiceNowDevelopers.com. So you have to make sure when you are using your personal developer instance, the email address of your personal developer instance would be the instance name at ServiceNowDevelopers.com. Now ServiceNow changed it maybe I think 2-3 years ago. Initially it was the same, but they have changed it. But if I talk about your enterprise account, your enterprise ServiceNow instance, that email address will be same. That is instance name at service-now.com. That will be the email address of your enterprise ServiceNow instance. So what I will do now, I will come over here. I will just copy this because that's a triggering condition of my inbound action. So I will just mention in the subject, and I will also add maybe some other string, maybe this is part 1. That's it. And I will send an email. So I will click on send. This will send an email to my personal developer instance over here, and I will wait for my email. How can I check it? I just have to go to email logs, and that is emails. So here I have email logs over here. Now, as of now, it is empty. I don't have any record, not even sent, not even received. Now, this email will definitely take some little bit more time because moreover, this is your personal developer instance, so it cannot process all the records right away. Even in your enterprise, it might take a little bit time, but if it is really taking more time, you might raise it to your ServiceNow engagement managers. Or I think that's, if it is just maybe 10 seconds, 20 or 30, I think that's still okay. But it depends how much frequent emails you are sending. That is totally depend. So you can see now we have received that email which we have just sent, same email, demo for inbound. And what I will do, I will open this and see whether it got processed or not. And yes, answer is yes. If I click on open record, you can see new incident record is created with this new email which we have sent from Gmail. And if I open this record, let's see. And you can see the magic. It has set the short description as the subject of the email which we have received. Now you have to note some of the points here. The first point is you can see the caller is mentioned as guest. The reason behind it, because my demo email address is not saved. There's no user whose email address is same as the Gmail address which I have created. So this is the email address I have. I think I have already shown this email address, but if you will see that, you don't need to send the email to me because I won't open it. This is just for demo purpose. I will also hide this email address because I don't want users to see this email address. But what I will do, so you can see, let me just show you first the email. See, in the activity, whenever you will send any inbound action, it will system will process any inbound action and it will create any record or update any record. You will always see that email in the activity log. You can see here, email received from where to where exactly it was sent. That is something you can see that. Now, if I will go to email logs again, and if I open this record, because I want to show you those details which we were talking about, the elements, the content of email. So for example, you can see this is the subject, this is the recipients to whom this email was sent, this is the body, we had blank body, then we had content type which we were talking about. You can also access content type, and this is the headers. That's how basically ServiceNow segregate whatever email it receives. It segregate and create a record, and it mentions into different fields. And here the target record which we were talking about. Now what I will do, I will try to create, basically send an email, another email, but this time we will see how it populates the instance user. How exactly it will do that? For that, we have to update this email address in one of the basically account of my personal developer instance. Maybe I will update it in my this system administration account. I have this email. I will mention that SAASWITHServiceNow@gmail.com. This is the email address. And I will also, maybe I will delete this account maybe after this demo. SAASWITHServiceNow@gmail.com, and I will save this. So this is saved. Now we will see what exactly the difference would be. So this is saved. I'm going to my Gmail and I'm going to send a new email, but I have to keep that short description, that is basically the subject as it is, and I will just pick it from here so that I don't make any mistakes. I will copy this because that's what the condition. If system will not find this string, then system will not trigger this inbound action. So for that, I will just mention this here, and this time I will also mention bodies. This is I think part 1 demo. And I can also mention here, part 1 demo. And I will click on send. It is sent. So we have to wait for our email. And I do emails, and we will see what exactly happens. As of now, I just have one email received. The second one we will see. I think it will take a little bit more time. You can see now that we have received our second email, and this time you will see a difference. You can see here user ID was empty. That means the user who has sent this email. And here we can see system administrator. The reason behind it, because system was able to identify that, hey, I do have this user email address in my user table. So let's see who is that user. And this is the user. So in that case, if I open this, and you can see it has created another record, and user ID this time is not blank. That means it has recognized someone. And if I open this record, you will see, but this is not populating the caller. Why? Because you have not mentioned it. It still knows, but that particular log was there, but you can still, if you want to populate this caller, because we have not mentioned it. That's the reason it has not mentioned over here. It has not auto-populated, but you can still see the difference which you were seeing here, that it still identified that yes, I have got this email from the existing user of this instance. So this is how you create an inbound action. And as of now, we have not done any scripting, but now we will create different and another inbound action with scripting, but we will still use the same inbound action. We will just edit it. So let's say you have a requirement from your customer, and the requirement is that if the subject of email sent to ServiceNow instance contains router keyword, and recipient's email address is network email address. So maybe there's a network email address in your organization, for the network team. And then if user is sending that email to that email address with ServiceNow email address, then system should create new incident record and at the same time assign that incident to network assignment group, which means assignment group should be auto-populated. So let's see how exactly you will do that. And we will open the same existing inbound action which we created. And if I will open this one, now we have to populate some fields, and that is assignment group. That is also as per the condition we have where system will found that keyword, that subject contains router. So in that case, what I will do, I will mention over here router. So that's how this inbound action will be triggered. So subject contains router. And then I will come over here. So I'm not going to use these field actions. So what I will do, I will just cancel this. I will remove the field actions which was populated over here, because we have to achieve this requirement with the help of scripting. So what I will do, now what exactly you have to do, the requirement is you have to basically check if the recipients, the email was basically sent to network team or not. If that is the case, what exactly we will do, I will store that value. How can you store it? Now ServiceNow provides different variables which you can use with email object. So what I will do here, I will first create an array. So I'm going to just create a variable first where we will have that array object, basically array data, which we'll get it from the email address field. So in that case, that to field where exactly this email was sent. So what I will do, I will create where I will do array equal to. What I can do now, how exactly I will get the data mentioned in to of the email. Now I will get it via recipients underscore array. Now what this will do. So for example, you have two email addresses. One is ServiceNow instance email address. Another one is network team email address. In that case, what this will basically store, this will store the two values in array. That's what it does. So we are just creating an array to just store that value. And now I will just create another variable just to store the email address of network team. So in that case, what I will do n, that is network, and I will do email equal to, I will put in the strings. I will do network at example.com. I'm done. Now what I will do, I will run a loop here. Now why I'm running the loop? because I have to check whether this email address is present in the this array or not, where exactly it is present or not. So in that case, what I will do for, and I will do here I equal to 0 semicolon, and I will do I less than, and I will do array, R array, not A array, R array dot length dot length, and then I will do I plus plus. And now I will check if that particular email is available in this array or not. So in that case, what I will do, n email equal to, and I will put R array and square brackets, and I will put I here, and then I will put here, because I have to update. So I will do assignment underscore group equal to. Now here I will put the sys of the network group. How exactly I can find it? I will go to sys user group, that is the groups table we have. So I will just copy the sys of network group. So I will just type network. I will search for network group. Here is it is. I will copy the sys. I will mention over here semicolon. And here I will just keep as it is, that is current dot insert. That's it, nothing else. It will automatically loop. We have this length. It will basically loop till the length of the array, which is basically just 2, because we will have just 2 values in the array. So in that case, I will save it. Now, in order to test it, we will send a new email to my ServiceNow developer instance. So I will go here. I will come over here and I will use dev. That's our email address of my personal developer instance. Now, another email address which we will mention, that is network@example.com. That's it. Now, the condition for triggering the this inbound action is that subject should contain router keyword. So in that case, I will just click on send. I have sent it. Now I have to wait for some time so that system receives that email. So I will go to emails over here. So as of now, I just have those 2 emails which we just created. So we have to see. And you can see that we have received the email. This was, I think, it is pretty much fast, which I can think of right now. So let me just open this record. And if I open this, let's see if it is creating something. I will. Absolutely. You can see that it has created a new incident, but the major thing we have to see whether it was able to populate the assignment group or not. That's the important part over here. So if I check this, and yes, you can see that it has assigned this incident to network team as per the script you have mentioned, as per the logic you have mentioned, that if system will find that email address, it should automatically populate this group. Now, you can see the caller field is still empty. You can still populate it. How? I will show you quickly. So I will go to inbound actions. Same inbound action. And what I will do, I will just come over here and maybe I can just mention current dot and this way caller underscore ID equal to, I can do email dot from. Now from will be basically from which sender this particular email address, the email address of the sender. That's something you can capture, store in email dot from. So in that case, I will save it. Let's see what happens. But you can see I'm not putting this current dot caller ID in loop. The reason behind it, because that in that case it will only populate the caller ID once this will found that this email address, else not. But we don't want to do that. Even if it does not found the email address, it should still create the incident, but with this caller ID. And then assignment group will not be populated, but that's okay. So I am going to over here and I'm going to create a new, I think you can also see the alert, the notification which we got from ServiceNow incident, ServiceNow, that say this incident assigned to group network. And I will also show you some other magic of inbound action, the power of inbound action. That means as of now, we are just creating the incident. We will also try to do update. So, but before that, let me just create a new email. And here I will do developer, that same one. I will put network one as well, network at example.com, comma, I will put router here, and that's it. And I will click on send. If I'm clicking on send, let's see, you will get the emails, and I will just bookmark this application so that I can keep on checking. You can see we have received that new email which we just created. So I will just open the bracket. As of now, it has not created any incident. The reason behind it, maybe I will just quickly tell you as well, because that's really important to know. Because we have not mentioned any kind of stop processing as well. It will basically process. It will try to check every inbound action that, hey, where exactly I have to do this? Where exactly I have to create this? So that's the reason. So I'm just reloading it. And you can see that new incident is created. And if I open this, you will see some different this time. If I open this, you will see the caller is populated because we have mentioned, and even network assignment group is also populated. The reason behind it, because you mentioned that you updated with the from email address. Now system tried to identify, okay, this email address is present in sys users table. So let me check which is the user. And that's how you can see basically my own account is populated over here. Now in another example, I will show you that how you can populate, for example, this field or any other field, which will be basically dynamic. That means user can himself write that, hey, I wanna do this, or maybe I wanna set this particular field. That's something you can do with the help of inbound action as well. Let's see how can you achieve that. So in that case, what I will do, I will go to inbound action over here. And what I will do, I will just open the same inbound action. We will not remove the script we have. Let's say that we will assign it to network team and caller ID will be as it is. But what we will do, some change, maybe we will populate short description. Maybe we will update description. So what I can do, I will come over here. Now, in order to get basically in order to read that particular element from the email. So for example, if customer wants to send or end user wants to populate short description by himself, even the description by himself. Let's say if they want to do that, or maybe let's say priority as well. Can he do that? Absolutely, you can do that. So in that case, what I can do, if I will do here, let's say, because I have to read that, but it's really better. You should not directly write current.caller ID, and you should not do that, because this time we are going to read the body. But you have to make sure that that particular tag is available. That means it's not undefined. So in that case, what I can do for each value you want to push into different fields you want to populate. So in that case, I will do if, and what I can do, email dot body dot. Now, for example, you want to populate short description. So you can give any word, but that word has to be used by the end user. They should be aware of that tag. So in that case, what I can do, maybe I will write short D, and I will do short D not equal to undefined. That means it's not undefined. There should be some value. If it is not undefined, that means there is a value. In that case, what you can do, current dot short description equal to, and then here you can do email dot body dot short D. You can mention the same. And I will just copy it. I will copy it here. And I can put it right again. This time we will populate description. So maybe I will do des. That's it. If it is undefined, I will mention it's field current dot description, and I will just do body dot des. And you can populate it again. Here I will just mention maybe for another field, maybe priority this time, but priority has to be populated with urgency and impact. So we will do it with urgency and impact. So in that case, I will do urgency, same word. It's fine. You can still use it. I will do urgency. And here you can mention urgency. Now same for impact as well. You will see a big difference that how can you create incident with some pre-populated data with the help of inbound action. So I will mention impact, and over here as well impact, and over here as well impact. And we will keep it as it is, this one current dot insert, and I think we should be good. Now this is like dynamic now. So whatever information you will send from email, system will automatically populate it as per the data available or data read it by read it in the email. So I will save it now. Now this time you can see that this particular condition we have a router. So we will still keep the router in the subject. So so that it can trigger it, but it's up to you. You can change it as per your requirement. You can also create multiple inbound actions, but you just need to make sure that you are changing the orders, these execution orders, so that it can run automatically in sequence. And the one which you really want to run, it comes at the top. That's how you can do that, reorder these inbound actions. So in that case, what we will do, I'm going to create a new incident over here with this inbound action, and I will put dev, still fine. I will put network at example.com, and here I can put router. But now how exactly I can populate those data? For that, because we had short D, so I will do colon. That's how you mentioned, you will do colon, and then you can put maybe this is demo. This is demo of inbound action. Now this will populate the short description. And then if I mention over here, I think this is not short S, this is short D. Now another one when we used des, that is description. Now that should be des colon, and you can write this is a description. That's it. And the last one was like two more, urgency, and then we also had impact. So I can put urgency and as 1, and here as well 1. That's it. Let me send this. If I send this, it is sent. We will check for this email now in the system, emails, and we will see whether record is being created or not. Now this was the outbound, then on behalf, that's what it sent, that email. So we will check for that inbound email. So you can see now that we have received the email. So we will see what kind of data will be populated. So I will just open the record, and it has created the incident, and I will open it. Let's see what happens. Awesome. You can see that the impact and urgency is priority 1, and even the priority of the incident is 1. It has set it. You have short description. This is demo of inbound action description. That means all 3 fields have been auto-populated, or 4 fields, because we populated impact and urgency, which has automatically changed the priority as well. So you can see this is how you can make the inbound action dynamic, and you can update or create incident and populate basically the existing fields, the fields of those particular records, of any record in the system. Now I will show you quickly that how you can update the existing incident. So if I go to my Gmail account, you can see a lot of notifications have been received, which were sent by my ServiceNow instance, my personal developer instance. So what I can do if I open this particular incident, this notification, and if I click on reply, so I will show you what exactly it does. And if I write something, hi, this is an update, and I just write something like this, and I click on send, what exactly it will do. So if I go over here and maybe I just open same incident record, this one, it would process the email for sure. And if I check email logs, you can see my email has been received. And if I open this, yes, you can see that it has done something, and that is also to the same incident record. That means it has updated. So if I come over here and open the same record, you can see I have received the email. So that means system did not create a new record. It just updated. And the reason behind it, if I will go to my email, the sent one, and maybe I will check in the logs. That's better. Let's go to logs and check that why exactly it has not it has not created a new incident, just updated it. The reason behind it, we also have this if you remember, we talked about the sequence, that how exactly it identifies. And here we also have the incident number, which is the existing number of the target table. And that's the reason it is able to just update the record rather than creating a new incident record for the table we selected. So this is how you create inbound action. And if you will get the requirement from your customer or clients, that's how you can basically develop the functionality and you can make more dynamic. I think there are different ways of creating these inbound actions that you can also make it more configurable. That means you can create a table which can be more configurable. Maybe I will post another video which will basically talk about how you can make this more configurable. That's something you can do. So maybe I will post that kind of video, but that's how you can create inbound action to fulfill the requirement of your customers and clients. So I hope you like my video. So please like, comment, and share my channel and videos, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel. Thank you and have a great day.